Hello, everyone. My name is John from Community Life Church in Catskill, New York, and this is Meals Ready to Eat from the Bible. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified. Facebook, follow us, like us, and everybody, please leave a comment. Thanks. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today's episode is the conclusion of the series on destiny. It's destiny. So, what is my destiny? What can we use in the Bible to determine what exactly our destiny is? So we have to walk in our destiny. I have to walk in your destiny. I have to walk in my destiny. And we cannot let the worldly system deter me from fulfilling my destiny, because God meant it for good in order to achieve this present result, to preserve many people alive. That's an important concept. We're going to see where that comes from in the Bible. So to begin with, we are changed by God, and therefore we can walk out our destiny. We are changed by God, therefore we can bring change to those around us. Our destiny impacts not only me, but everyone around me. Your destiny does not only impact you, it impacts everyone around you. Let's take a look at our scriptures today. We'll get them up on the screen, read through them, and then see what God is saying to us through these two passages. And you were dead. That's past tense. You were dead in your trespasses and sins in which you formerly walked, according to the course of this world, according to the way things are in this world, according to the prince of the power of the air. It's a very interesting person, the prince of the power of the air, of the spirit that is now working in the sons of disobedience. That's Ephesians Chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Then all the way back in Genesis, last chapter of Genesis, when Joseph is dying. This is, if you remember, Jacob. This is his son, his 11th son. It was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who became Israel. And this is what he's talking about at the end of his life. This is in verse 20. As for you, speaking to his brothers who conspired against him to get rid of him, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. In order to bring about this present result, to preserve many people alive. Therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. So he's influencing not only his family, but his brother's family. So he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Then down in verse 25, it says this. Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear. It's very important, saying, God will surely take care of you, and you shall carry my bones up from here. So he's looking all the way into the future. He knew that when it came time for him to die, he would be buried, but then his people, his descendants, would be removed from Egypt. That's the Exodus. And he didn't even want his bones left in this place, in the worldly system, as it were. So what is the God saying about all this? What is he talking about? Break it down and see exactly what God's saying here. First of all, we used to be one way, now we are another. So we're changed, and we can start to walk in our destiny. We can start to find out who we are going to get married to, who, if we get married, where we're going to work, what kind of job we're going to have, what church we go to, what are we going to do in that church, and so on and so forth. But we used to walk or live according to the system of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air. We were under the authority, before we're saved, of this thing, the prince of the power of the air, which kind of oversees, maybe that's not a good word, kind of has the power over those in the world who don't know Jesus. Now Joseph, Jacob's son, encountered these same powers just as we do. Abraham encountered them, Isaac encountered them, Jacob encountered them. So these things they encountered, but he was, by following God, able to overcome these powers and his circumstances. His circumstances didn't rule him. So despite what he went through, he was able to bring change to not only himself, but those around him, those who came after him. That's a very important part of our destiny. We should never think of our destiny as just something for me only, for you only. It's for those around us. And when we begin to walk this out, when we see what kind of ministry we have, what kind of job we have, what kind of children we have, if we do have children, whatever we do, we have to walk these things out in such a way that it impacts these people around us. We just can't ignore them. So we have to, whatever our destiny is, keep these things in mind when we start to walk it out. And then this is the full thing of what Jesus said, of what Joseph said. He said this, he says, you meant evil against me, That's what it says in the Bible in Genesis 50. He's talking to his brothers who tried to thwart his destiny, who tried to stop him from achieving what God wanted him to achieve. But God meant it for good in order to bring about this present result. So Joseph overcame everything by walking out his destiny. It wasn't a pleasant walk the whole time. He was kidnapped, sold into slavery. He was a little successful. Then he became a prisoner for many years until he was finally rescued by God and put in charge of the power. He was the second in charge in Egypt. Now, some people may say that, well, his destiny was to be this very powerful man. In Egypt, that's not the case. His destiny was to preserve many people alive. And God used his job, as it were, to save these people, to allow Joseph to impact the future through his job. His destiny wasn't his job. His destiny was the preservation of life and the influence of the future and those around him. So he was against the worldly system, and he was so against it and so aware of it and what it was that he didn't even want his bones left in the place where the worldly system operated. He said, take them with me when you go to the promised land. Don't leave my bones here. That's another important concept, that he knew what he was facing and he didn't want any part of it. And all this was done by the power of God in Joseph's life, in Jacob's life, in Abraham and Isaac's life. All this stuff is done by the power of God, and it's done in your life as well. It's one important thing we have to understand is the power of God works through us so we can live and walk out our destiny if we just follow these principles of impacting people around us for the good of the gospel, for the good of the God. And God's power works in us, and that is power. The power to walk in our destiny and change everything around us. It may not seem like we can, but God says we can, and his power is manifested, made obvious in us. So thank you for listening. I'll see you next week. Take care. All right, thanks for watching. You can find us on the web at clchurch.cc. That's clchurch.cc. We meet 10:30 Sunday mornings in 20 West Main Street, Catskill, New York. Hope to see you there, and thanks once again.